So very good day to everybody. Once again, this is computer communication networks, and this is our last topic. Okay, domain network server electronic mail. We discuss about simple mail transfer protocol. Then we discuss about POP3, IMAP. Okay, internet map. Okay, and then we'll discuss about multi-purpose internet mail extension. So that we'll be discussing. So this is especially for you, my dear students and young researchers. And you can reach me at dr.christoananth@gmail.com. So before beginning the session, once again, let me thank God for giving me this opportunity to deliver this useful session, to share my knowledge among my fellow national, international participants, students, and young researchers. So in this class, we'll discuss about simple mail transfer protocol, SMTP. Then what is the model? What are the components of the SMTP client and server? How you try to receive the mail? Okay. Then we discuss about Internet Message Access Protocol, IMAP. Then what are the features of IMAP? What are the working of IMAP? Then we discuss the difference. We distinguish between POP3 and then IMAP. Okay. Then we discuss about multi-purpose internet mail extension. So that we'll be discussing. And finally, we are going to have this working of MIME. Okay. So at regular intervals, I'll be giving you some short videos to discuss the knowledge in our topics. Right. Fine. Whenever you have to send information from one part to another part, like you use email. Okay. So that's the most valuable service. Okay. Maybe Yahoo Mail or maybe Gmail or Hotmail, whatever maybe you will be using almost daily. Okay. To send the valuable services, to send the message from one end to another end. Okay. So for this one, maybe we can use SMTP, simple mail transfer protocol. That is how you transfer the mail from one user to another. Okay. So this SMTP, it's actually a push protocol where you can actually send the email. Okay. Whereas POP, okay, post office protocol or maybe internet message access protocol can be used to retrieve the emails at the receiver end. Okay. So you can use SMTP, simple mail transfer protocol. That's a application layer protocol. So the client wants to send the email, maybe establishes a TCP connection to the SMTP server, and maybe it will be sending the email across the connection. Okay. So the SMTP server is a always on listening mode. Okay. So when it listens for the TCP connection from any client, the SMTP process will be initiating a connection through the port number 25. Okay. So when the TCP connection is established, the client process will be sending the email instantly. Okay. So the SMTP model will be having two methods. One is end-to-end method and another one is store and forward method. Okay. So maybe the end-to-end model, you can use it to communicate between different organizations, different institutions as well. Whereas the store and forward method, you can use it within an organization. Okay. So here the SMTP client which wants to send the email will definitely contact the destination host SMTP directly in order to send the email to the destination. Okay. And the server, okay, will be keeping the email to itself until it is successfully copied to the receiver's SMTP. Okay. So the client SMTP is the one which is going to initiate the session. So maybe you can call it as the client SMTP, and maybe server SMTP is the one which is going to respond to the session request. Okay. So this you can call it as the receiver SMTP. Okay. Client SMTP will be starting the session and the receiver SMTP will be responding to the request. Okay. So here in the SMTP model, the user will be dealing with the user agent. Okay. That is UA. For example, maybe like Microsoft Outlook or maybe Netscape or maybe Mozilla. Okay. And in order to exchange the email using transmission control protocol, you can use MTA, message transfer agent. Okay. So the user which is sending the mail doesn't have to deal with MTA because it's the responsibility of the system admin to set up a local message transfer agent. Okay. So the message transfer agent will be maintaining a small queue of emails. Okay. So that it can schedule repeat delivery of emails in case the receiver is not available. Okay. So the MTA will be delivering the mail to the special email boxes. Okay. And the information can be later downloaded by the UA, user agent. So this is how it will go. Okay. So from the user at the terminal, from the sender, it will go to the user agent to the send email queue. So this is maintaining a email queue. Okay, and then it will go to the client. Okay, message transfer agent. This is the client. Okay, and through this one we will be establishing a connection, TCP connection, TCP port number 25. Okay, so through the SMTP commands it will be replying and then emailing. Okay, so this it will go to the user email boxes through the user agent and to the receiver user at the terminal. Okay, so both the SMTP client and of course the SMTP server will be having two agents. One is UA user agent and then local message transfer agent. Okay, so here the sender user agent will be preparing the message and will be sending it to the message transfer agent. So the responsibility of the message transfer agent is to transfer the email across the network to the receiver MTA. Okay, and in order to send the emails, the system should have the client MTA, and in order to receive the emails, the system should have a server MTA. Okay, right. So this is sending email. So normally mail, generally it is like request and then response. Okay, so the client will be sending the request and maybe the server will be receiving the response event, will be giving a response event. Okay, so the message which is sent across will be having both the header as well as the body. Okay, so here the null line you can use it to actually terminate the email header, and everything after the null line will be considered as the body of the message. Okay, so that is nothing but a sequence of the ASCII characters. Okay, right. So message body will be having the information which is actually read by the receipt. So here if you go SMTP server, it will go to the SMTP client, will be having 2-1. Okay, user application, of course the client control. Okay. So the user agent at the server side will be checking the mailboxes at definite time intervals. Okay, if any information is received, means it will be informing the user about the email. Okay, and when the user tries to read the email, it will be listing that particular emails with a short description about each email in the email box. Whenever you point it, okay, immediately it will show the description. Okay, by selecting any of the email users, you can actually view the contents of the terminal. Okay, so maybe you can use some SMTP commands like hello. Okay, so that will be identifying the client to the server, the fully qualified domain name that is set once per session, and then mail, it is going to initiate a message transfer fully qualified domain of the originator. Okay, then you will have RCPT receipt. Okay, so it will be following the mail, it will be identifying the addressee, typically the fully qualified name of the addressee. Okay, and for multiple addressee you can use one receipt for each of the address. Okay, and then you will have data, that is sending the data line by line. Okay, and then you'll have advantages like the users will be having the dedicated server, and you can go for bulk mailing as well. Of course it's low cost and it's having a wide coverage area. Okay, and also for email tracking also it is offering several choices, and of course it is considered robust and reliable and prompting the email delivery. So disadvantages, definitely the common port can be blocked by the firewalls. Okay, and SMTP security or authentication is a big problem. Okay, also it's very much simple, so that is the reason it is going to restrict how useful it can be. Okay, so here 7-bit ASCII characters can be used, and if the message is longer than this length, okay, so SMTP will be rejecting the entire message. Okay, so you can deliver the information back and forth. Okay, so that will be delaying the sending the information. Okay, so that's the problem. Okay, so these are nothing but the disadvantages of the SMTP. And then IMAP, Internet Message Access Protocol. So it's a application layer. Okay, so that's a higher layer. So generally it operates as a contract for actually receiving mails from the mail server. Okay, so generally IMAP can be used for retrieving emails, both the POP3 as well as post office protocol, and maybe IMAP you can use it to retrieve the messages. So you can also call it as the Internet Mail Access Protocol, Interactive Mail Access Protocol, and maybe Interim Mail Access Protocol. Okay, so maybe you will have like email client on your phone, on the road, redundant storage, at work, and then web email. So this is what you will have the application of the Internet Message Access Protocol. So these are the features of IMAP. Generally you can manage the multiple mailboxes, and of course you can organize them, you can schedule them into various categories, and it will be having like several message flags to keep track of the messages that is being seen. Okay, so generally you can decide whether to retrieve email from the mail server before downloading. Okay, so you can actually easily download the media when multiple files are being attached. And of course the working of IMAP. So here you will be having like client server architecture, and generally it's the most commonly used. Okay, so maybe you'll have the IMAP client and IMAP server. Between them we will have the TCP connection. So port number 143 is maybe used. Okay, so generally it's like client and server working on the parallel computers that is connected across the network. So here it will be using TCP IP, transmission control protocol, internet protocol for communication, and it will be setting up the server which is actually listening on to port number 143. Okay, so that is actually non-encrypted. Okay, and for secure encryption you can use 993 port even. And the advantages, it offers better synchronization across all the maintained sessions, and of course it will be providing security than the POP3 post office protocol, as the email only exists on the IMAP server. Also the users has the remote access to all the contents, and you can easily migrate between the devices because it's having synchronization advantage, okay, by the centralized server. And of course no need to physically allocate any storage to save the contents. But disadvantages, it's much more complex to maintain, and of course emails are used only when there is internet connection. Other than that you cannot use. So this is the difference between POP3 and IMAP. Okay, so POP, it's a post office protocol, so it's a simple protocol that will be allowing download messages from the inbox to the local computer. But IMAP, it's much more advanced, and maybe you can use the user to see all the folders on the mail server. So POP server will be listening on to port number 110, and maybe POP with SSL, secure socket layer, secure, and server even that listens to port number 995. Okay, but IMAP, it will be listening on to port number 143. Okay, but with IMAP with SSL, it will be listening on to port number 993. Okay, in POP3 the mail can be accessed from the single device at one point of time, but IMAP, the messages can be accessed across multiple devices. So in order to read the email, especially in the POP, it can be downloaded on the local system, but here it can be read partially before downloading in the case of IMAP. Okay, so user need not have to organize mails in the mailbox of the mail server because they cannot do it. Okay, but in the case of IMAP, the user can organize the emails directly on the mail server. Okay, so POP, the user cannot create, cannot delete, cannot rename it even, but here you can delete, create, rename even. Okay, but POP, it's unidirectional, which means that all changes made on the device does not affect the content present on the server. But here IMAP, it is actually bidirectional, which means a two-way. Okay, so all the changes made on the server or maybe device are made on the other side, like client also. Okay, and here POP, it does not allow the user to actually sync the emails. Okay, and IMAP, you can actually sync the emails because it offers the synchronization advantage. Okay, POP is fast, but IMAP is slow. Okay, so here POP, a user cannot search the content or maybe email before downloading, but here they can search for the content for the specific string before downloading email. Okay, here we will have two modes, delete mode and then keep mode, storage mode. Okay, but here the user can search the content for an email for a specific string. Okay, that you can go for. Okay, and you can also go with multiple redundant copies also that can be stored in the server, and of course in case of any loss or maybe damage, it can be actually retrieved. Okay, but here in delete mode, the mail is actually deleted from the mailbox after the retrieval. So that's the thing. Right. So this is MIME, multi-purpose internet mail extension. So that's a standard established by the Bell Communications back in 1991. Okay, so that's a add-on or maybe a supplementary protocol that's similar to a add-on feature. Okay, so that will be allowing non-ASCII data to be sent across the SMTP, simple mail transfer protocol. Okay, so maybe you can exchange different kinds of data files on the internet. Okay, maybe like audio, video, images, and of course application programs also. Okay, so there are some limitations of SMTP, and that is the reason you go with multi-purpose internet mail extension. Okay, SMTP, if you can see, it's a very simple structure. Okay, but MIME, MIME, it's more organized, it's more structured even. Okay, and SMTP, it's more simple. Okay, however, when it comes to price, it only allows the sending of messages, okay, in this 7-bit ASCII format. So that's a major problem, okay, that yeah, can be overcome with the MIME. Okay, so it cannot be used for languages that do not support the 7-bit ASCII format, maybe like French or maybe German, Russian, Chinese or Japanese. Okay, so that's the reason it cannot be transmitted using SMTP. That's the reason it can be easily using the MIME, multi-purpose internet mail extension. Okay, so that is the reason you go for, and of course it cannot be used to send the binary files or audio or maybe video data, and that is the reason we go for MIME. Okay, so there is a growing demand, like we have to send email messages very securely through the multimedia, and that is the reason once again we go for MIME. Okay, that's you can go with sharing of the files, video and audio even. MIME, it is going to transform the non-ASCII data at the sender side, okay, to the NVT 7-bit data. Okay, so that's going to deliver to the client SMTP. Okay, so the messages is transferred back to the original data, and of course you can send the audio as well as video data as well. Okay, because it's going to transfer in the 7-bit ASCII data. Okay, and the features, definitely you can go with sending multiple attachments. That's the advantage. You can send more attachments in a single message. Even in the case of Gmail, if you have seen, like more 25 MB more also, that storage it will go. Google Drive it will actually store. So that's the application it will go. Okay. So unlimited message length. So that's the advantage. Okay. So as I told you, audio, video, binary files, everything can be attached, like executables, images, audio, video file, even can be partitioned. It can be divided if needed even. Okay, and you can go for supporting various content types and of course multi-part messages as well. Okay, so let us take in the case the user wants to send an email through the user agent, and it is in non-ASCII format. Okay, so there's a MIME protocol, multi-purpose internet mail extension protocol, that will be converting to the 7-bit NVT ASCII format. Okay, so the message is actually transferred through the email system to the other side, okay, in the 7-bit format. So that's the reason MIME protocol will be converting, okay, back into non-ASCII code. So that's the user agent of the receiver side will be reading it, and the information is actually finally read by the receiver. So here the MIME header is actually inserted at the beginning of the email transfer to make the robust communication.